Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chup the podcast. We're your hosts, Adhar.
I'm Samyata.
I'm Risha.
And Anna.
First of all, let us all welcome back our hosts, Resha and Anna. I know y'all missed them, don't lie. So, as you guys might know, we are IB students, international baccalaureate, whatever. Still can't pronounce that. Quick reminder, we did not have our last day. So, the school took it away from us. Yeah. So, this episode, we are revisiting the memories we made in school as IB students while also answering some of your questions that you guys have sent to us to our Confess Out page, linked in our Instagram bio, which will also be linked down in the description box below.
So, when you talk about IB, the first thing is that you get bombarded with acronyms such as EEs, IEs, DOK, HL, SL subjects, and all, which can be very overwhelming at times. I wasn't sure about all these myself when I started IB. So, we decided as former IB students, we could share our experience and help you all who want to study this program understand IB a little bit better. So how did you guys decide on taking IB?
I just took IB because my sister took it, so I just
Same.
followed her, I guess.
I just took IB because everyone in my family took IB.
Mm.
And for some reason, I thought that it would be a good idea to follow them.
But they did warn me though. It was like, don't take it.
Yeah,
It'll be
the-
difficult.
The only difference is that no one in my family warned me, probably because they wanted to see me suffer. They just were like, it's a good program, you should go in. So I did.
So
I
Mine-
didn't have anyone to say anything to me. I just went for it. I don't even know why,
Exactly.
but here I am now.
Mine is I wanted to get as far away as possible from my previous school, which I stayed in for a decade. So there was no way I was going to stay there for 12 years. So yeah, that's mine. I was like, okay, what does unions have to offer me?
Thanks to IB, now we're making a podcast together, right?
Exactly.
yes, thanks to IB, true.
If it wasn't for IB, we would probably be some other people, but not people with podcasts. That
True.
We did the podcast for CAS, a requirement for IB. And we actually met through CAS. So
Yeah, the first time we met was through CAS.
yeah.
yeah.
I think a good thing about IB is that like there are so many other things rather than just books. Social service, for instance, like activities and everything. We met through a social service program, like four of us for the first time in a football game. I think it was.
Yes, sir.
We played
Yeah.
football together when we didn't even know
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
And I want to point out something. The opponent team, they actually mentioned our team chemistry. So that kind of tells you why we're such good co-hosts.
we still go to the place. So me and others,
Yeah.
we still do go. It's a really good
Yeah.
place. Heartbeat.
Yeah, that just made me realize how lazy I am because I don't
Me
go there
too.
anymore.
Yeah, it was just for
We should.
the first few months, right, Tomita?
Yeah,
When
but
you
we should.
months, right?
We might go after the lockdown, but
We'll see.
we probably won't. We're just bluffing.
Yeah, I know.
So I have a question. What is like one of the fondest memory you guys have of the first time we met?
We met. I realized Savita was a liar since she said she doesn't know how to play football, but then nope.
Exactly.
Okay. In my
Yeah.
defense, I just said that I hadn't played in a long time, but yeah.
She was just being humble, okay? We get it. Humble.
Others were really bad. Like Samita was the man of the match.
Exactly.
True, that was.
But there's one thing that was so very stand out or like very, I don't want to say khatra, but like that moment was when Samita got kicked on the face by the ball. and her-
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was painful. I think it was like our second match or something.
That was just your karma for lying. That was your karma for lying.
That's what you get.
Yeah. I think we got closer since we had like
Yeah.
similar subject later
Yeah,
on.
true.
Like we kept seeing each other, unfortunately, in same classes. So
I
we
mean,
became close.
if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be friends with Anna because the first time I met her, someone texted me and told me that Anna is pretty rude in real life. Turns out she wasn't. Her face is just intimidating
Ouch.
and she doesn't talk much, but then she isn't rude. So I think us
Maybe I
having a
am.
long-
Maybe I
Oh.
am.
Anna is rude. What do you mean?
She is. I just need to defend myself from her wrath.
No, I'm not. This is all jokes. Okay. I hope I'm not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking
But
about Cass and how we met through football, I would also want to mention that Cass also requires of sports, and three of us are actually in the school team for soccer and basketball, respectively. And Anna, she was learning how to play
Yeah.
basketball with us, so
I'm
don't
not
worry.
athletic at all, but these people, they were very serious about sports.
Yeah, but even though she's not athletic, she puts in an effort. So any effort is effort.
Mhm.
Thanks for saying that. But I think sports was not the best part for me because I'm not a very athletic person, but I enjoyed the hikes that we went. That was super fun. Although very difficult to climb all those stairs and
I'd
steps. It was
probably
very
say like the exact opposite because I hated the hikes. I don't like walking
Same, I
at
was a
all.
fan.
But
I loved the hikes.
the sports part was pretty fun though, and I'm still bummed about the fact that our second tournament got taken away because of the pandemic.
But I think the thing about sports is it also let us go to India together, which made us grow well closer as friends. But also the hikes. I loved the hikes. I remember our second hike to this place where all four of us had teamed up for the to tent
Oh,
Lagaone.
yes.
That's when,
Exactly.
yeah,
Can we
other
talk
almost
about
burned
that?
down the forest.
Okay, one, she
Yeah.
almost burned down the forest because she thought it would be a good idea to turn on the gas. And second, she put all
Yeah.
the like we put all the sugar in the tea, and the tea
Mm.
was well very sweet.
Very sweet.
Very
Sorry.
sweet.
Yeah.
That way. That means you get what you get. We're not in the cooking club, so
Oh, there are
But
various clubs to
hikes
join
were
as
really
well.
great.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a
English
good
be
bonding experience.
true.
I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of options you can choose, like for clubs as well. And even for sports, if you don't enjoy like basketball or football, like myself, there are so many other options like tennis or swimming, badminton, and like
Oh,
archery.
yeah.
There's
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of options. So you'll probably enjoy one of it.
Yeah, and there's like clubs too.
Mm.
Not just sports, but there's clubs
Yeah.
and you have gas for
Mm.
them to training. We had Wednesdays,
Yeah.
not
The best part
Yes.
is that you get to make friends because there's so many activities that you do.
True. Like
yeah.
That's how like we became friends. And thankfully, because of Savita, I was able to survive language classes. We had the same
yeah,
language classes.
and if you guys don't know why she calls me Sabita, it's because of one of those language
Oh,
classes, and I don't like it at all.
true. It's a long story. So let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's get to the subject part because like it's a question that I think we got in our confess page. Stated like if taking English B and Nepali is easier than taking English A. Just for the context, me and Samyata we took English A and Spanish, and Risha and other they took.
Yeah, we took
They took
English B and Nepali A. That's the combination that our school offered to us. If you took English B, you had to take Nepali A. If you took English A, then you had option to go for French or Spanish. I would say English B and Nepali A is comparatively easier than
I would
English
agree.
A.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree.
So one thing that we were promised as English B students in the beginning of the course was that we don't have any homeworks. So that's a good thing about English B. So if you want to be persuaded into taking English B, no homeworks.
But then once the online classes started, we had to do homeworks, English people. So that's the
That's
bad
true.
side of
Yeah.
online classes.
I don't know if it's my memory failing or the actual thing, but I don't think English E had a lot of assignments either.
Nah, English A didn't. But the thing is, before coming to IB, I thought I was pretty decent at English. But then I came to IB and I proved myself wrong because English A is actually very difficult.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't underestimate English A because most people are like,
True.
oh, I know English, I've done well in English before, I'm gonna do well. But
No.
the cases that
Nope.
English A is like more literature based, it's like language and literature, but language part maybe you can cover, but the literature part can get to you.
Yeah. When you take English A, you have to take like Spanish or French. And we took Spanish, both me and Samita. And people would assume that taking Spanish is harder than English, but Spanish was actually a lot more fun and more easier than English A.
I'd say there's a misconception about that.
But then again, if you compare it with Nepali, it's way easier because you've studied Nepali.
True.
धेरै पाएदेखि नि त. And Spanish is completely new. You have to start with the basics.
Yeah, that's like the only hard part of it because learning every language, you're like, what is this? I don't understand anything. It's going too fast.
True.
But
But
the
it's fun to learn a
Yeah.
new language.
the teachers try to engage you. They're like playing videos and movies. I personally watched Coco like 3 times because
True.
we had to keep on watching it and we did not have any other choice. So yeah, it's fun.
But it's a fact that if you take English B and Nepali, you have a higher chance of scoring good grades. And it's a fact. It's not just us saying it.
However, I really had second thoughts on taking Nepali because our teacher really, pressured us so much. He gave us so much work and made Nepali so difficult for us. But then
Everybody says that.
you can survive if you work. There's a lot of work though, like a lot
It's
of
all
work.
worth it for the grade in the end.
Yeah, true.
But there's a perk of taking English A as well.
Yeah, so if you take English A, a lot of universities, especially in the United States, they consider that as a language proficiency waiver. So if you take English A and you score good grades, I think above 5 or 4, then a lot of universities waive your language requirement out. But some countries still like take English B as a waiver as well, but most of them don't, which can be a downside to English B.
So you don't have to give like IELTS and Duolingo or TOEFL or whatever.
True.
If you take English A. For some unis, obviously not all, but
I mean, it's not a bad thing. Taking Duolingo was still fun for me, but there is like leeway if you don't want to give any language test at all.
Talking about university requirements, I think when you're choosing math, you have to consider your universities, like where you're applying to and what are the criteria they want you to fulfill. So there's 2 options. You can take either analysis and approaches or AI, which is interpretation.
Application and interpretation,
Yeah. And a lot of universities, I don't think they consider AI.
Yeah,
right?
That's the downside, because when we came to ULANS, people were like, if you're gonna go to a business field in university later, then take AI. It helps a lot, and it does because it overlaps with the requirements that you need for certain majors. But at the same time, most universities do not consider math AI, especially universities in Canada. They don't take math AI at all. So if you want to apply there, you have to give your SATs, which in our case was not available for us.
Math AI SL, right? I mean, I think HL is.
Some places still take AI HL, but SL is considered like the new math studies, so universities don't really take it.
With math HL, if you're taking it, it's going to be really, really hard. Half of the people who took HL dropped to SL. So just putting it out there, because math is really hard.
We're not trying to discourage you. If you're good in maths, then take maths. We are just not good in math, so.
The A is harder one and AI is the easier one, to put it simply.
That's what they say, but then it's like completely different courses. So because like math AI is like more do this, like, and math A is based on like how things work in opposed to how it is.
It's more about analysis. And especially for us, we did SEE boards, right? I mean, it was more about calculations, like put the values and figure out. But then AA must say you have to be more analytical. Even like you need to know the concept really well to do good in AA.
Yeah, I remember like my math teacher saying that if you've taken optional math in your Nepali board, then math AI is going to be easier for you because it's a lot of that subject overlapping.
But it's kind of sad. Like we have so many options for group 2 and group 3, but like group 4 or 5 is just math. Like there's an option where we did not have to choose math.
I don't like how this word functions. I would probably prefer not to have math.
And the worst thing is having to do IA in math. Like who thought it was a good idea to make students write 2000 word essay on math?
Like essay on math, that sounds bad already.
If you want to know how bad it went, I'll just let you know that I completed my IA on math and I still don't know what I wrote.
Exactly. It was the hardest IA probably. But for other, she said it was easy for her. So
yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing about IAs and even IB as a whole is the communication you have with your teachers. And my teacher was really flexible and really nice too. So he helped me with my IAs a lot. So I think I had like a really easy time to do my IA and complete it and send it.
Oh, mine was bad. I remember doing my maths IA. I had no idea how to start, where to start. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And then once I completed it, I just got one feedback. It was really late. So he just told me that oh, you're gonna get a really low marks if you submit this IA, and that's all. So I had to, redo it again. And I don't know what I did, but I did something.
Yeah,
I hope I get good
I'd
grades.
say other
That's
like what others said, it's true because I didn't get a feedback at all. That's probably why I don't like how my IA turned out. But the thing about IB is everyone's teachers are very strict on the deadlines they set and stuff like that. But from experience, teachers usually give some time if you're able to prove that you need more time due to certain reasons. They're
yeah.
pretty flexible with it.
But there were some students who had proper time management skill and did everything and had
Time
proper feedback. Yeah.
and made us feel bad about ourselves because we
Exactly.
procrastinated and
Oh,
do our work
yeah.
time.
True. Math IA was hard, but the hardest IA definitely has to be computer IA for me at
Oh
least.
my god, yeah. When I say that I cried doing computer
Yes, we
IS,
mean it.
yeah, we mean it. It was the hardest. Your program does not work. Sometimes the smallest
Exactly.
error can make you wander
That's
for hours.
true.
I love when
And
you guys talk about this
Yeah.
topic because I was a bystander in that process and seeing you guys.
Yeah. The three of us took computer, me, other, and Risha. Sadly,
I
unfortunately.
I remember this moment where we were in math class and Anna and I have the same math class and Anna was trying testing her program out and it failed and
Yeah.
she almost had a
Yeah.
mental
I was on the
breakdown.
verge of crying, seriously.
I didn't
It
know
was
what to do because
extremely difficult.
I don't know the slightest thing about how the program works, so I was just
True.
comfort. It's okay, try again.
The fact that the programs were so tricky and it just didn't work, that was like the worst part because well, I'd say, like I said, communication with the teacher. My teacher was so amazing. I swear he helped me with everything. Okay, you guys should go to your teachers, sit with them, don't let them move from their benches. Just be like, sorry, and you
That is
I
true.
swear, then you'll get there. Because
But
मेरो program 80-30 बिग्रियो नि, but ended up
yeah,
getting.
don't be scared of your teachers. They're gonna be
yeah.
helpful if you approach them. So just go approach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to see other being so confident and asking teachers for help, and she used to finish it in short amount of time. That's definitely true because I did not used to ask teacher for help, and I definitely
Uh-huh.
suffered a lot and realized it way too late.
Same.
Yeah, I don't wanna encourage students to go and bug teachers, okay? But the thing with me was I had a proper zany planned out of what I'm doing with my eyes. I just was not progressing anywhere from there. So I went there, I went and talked to my teachers, didn't let them move, and then I got done with my eyes. I'm not saying keep your eyes for the last minute. Go approach your teachers. Like it's any first time you see them, sit with them, complete your eyes, and get done with it.
Yeah.
I think for computer, not only IA, but the subject itself is difficult. Maybe just me, but it is pretty difficult.
But I think
Yeah.
science is comparatively easier than physics, chemistry, all the way.
Not for me, but me. It depends, obviously, but
I mean, we didn't take
yeah.
these two subjects. None of
Yeah,
us did.
physics, I think, true. Physics is
Like it,
Physics from everyone
but
who
yeah,
took it,
computer was
from the perspective of everyone who took it, physics was the hardest subject IB could ever offer.
true. I even considered taking physics equity starting ma, but then the teacher said if you're not sure, just don't take it. Like that was a warning, and I was like, okay,
That's
backing out
very,
of it.
very encouraging, no?
No, but then if you're sure, like you want to do something related to physics, future ma, which I wasn't. If you are, then you should take it.
Talking about hard and easy, what was like the hardest or the easiest IAs for you guys?
Oh,
the hardest was computer.
yeah. For me, it was business, not because the IA itself is difficult, because my company failed to communicate with me every time, and I was just there I have my deadline in 2 days, and I've not even started writing. Can you please reply? So yeah, that was a whole another issue.
For me, it was business because I didn't understand anything I was doing. So
I think this was kind of an easy IA for me.
Yeah, exactly. Malabar business one of the easiest ones.
Yeah.
But then
Mhm.
also depends on your company, pani, eh? My company
Yeah,
was
that's true.
worse, so that's why.
Going to
think that
teachers are there to help, not harm you kind of thing. I think
Mm.
EEMA that stood very true because I did my E in business and my supervisor was the best person ever. And she basically guided me through the entire thing. And my E felt like a smooth process, and it felt like very easy. There was one point where I was like ready to have a breakdown, and then she like, started a meeting with me and was like, no, it's okay, you're going on the right path, just do this, you have to change this and you're done. And so that was very helpful for me.
You know, when I started IB, the first thing I heard about was E4000 essay. That's the hard part. But then it's not really like that. For me, IAs were way harder than E.
You all did your EE on business, right? All three of you?
Yeah, we did business math.
I did mine in psychology. It was super interesting though. I think it depends on the subject you choose as well. If you do your E in something you like, it will probably be fun. But like some people did it in math and computer. Like, oh my god, I don't know how people do E.
But then again, if you're interested, you're easy when it was for us.
Don't do E in things you're not interested in because you have to spend a lot of time doing it, a lot of research. You might as well do it.
And you'll probably cry, so crying over a thing that you don't is not a good idea.
Just go with something you're interested in, something you can do easily. So psychology.
Let's talk about the group
psychology
IAs, the psychology.
Psychology is one of the easiest IAs, I would say.
I'd agree.
I wouldn't agree. The thing is, psychology IA is like a group IA. So like you need a good group to have a great experience doing IA.
I had a great partner for my psychology IA.
I'd say the same thing. I had the best partner I could ask for.
So me and Tomita were a group psychology IA. I feel like, if you choose the right people, then your psychology IA is going to be really easy.
True.
Yeah, I think for my IA, my group, you guys just had 2-3 members. I had like 4 people, but I had to do like a lot of things alone. But I didn't mind it. It was psychology. It was fun. But the thing I realized is like you have to write the report yourself, right? So since I did the things, I knew what to write. So it was easy for me. But then for the other people, it was difficult. So like be involved while doing group works if you want to get good grades.
Like this thing with us was because like we were told that it's easier because you can divide the task, and us being a smaller group, we had to be involved. There was no other choice. So I think that helped a lot, and especially for the fact that we have to write the actual IA ikle. It's not group
That's
so
true.
when I messed up, the only thing I had to do was contact Resha, and I was like, dude, what is this? Why is this not correct? And that's the only thing I did.
I had to do the IA twice because we had a mistake, and yeah, that was painful. But
Yeah, and this reminds me that Anna, I don't know how many members she had in her group, but I remember one of her members left the school, another one did not cooperate. So I saw Anna go through a spiral of anger.
Yeah, I had to run after people to tell them what we did. It was awful.
I advised her to yell at them. I was like, tell them to be punctual. Oh my God, let's not go into that.
Anyway.
Talking about groups, TOK is also one subject where you have to do group projects. You have to present last data in a group.
Yes, sir.
And you have to work with other people. So you have to choose wisely, I would say.
Exactly.
Resha did a great job choosing wisely, so she chose me. It was,
Okay, I won't deny,
More of this podcast is that Resha makes great choices.
Yeah.
No, I'm really good at teamwork. Okay, guys? That's what it is.
Yoga was easy. That's because we did it together. It was easy.
Yeah. And I feel like the smaller the group, the easier. Okay, since it was just 2 of us, it was easier to communicate. And
true.
if there were a lot of people, it would be so hard to just bring them up together to work.
I definitely say that like auto group work, I'd say the more people the better. But then when it comes to TOK, the lesser people the better. It's on if you're able to get someone who you trust who will do the work, then it's like win.
I have to say something about that. People you trust, your best friends don't come in like they're not in that category. Okay, please.
Yeah.
I swear, don't choose people because they're your best friends. I regretted it. I had to do a lot of the works by myself. And I know this person is listening to this podcast, but I don't care. Okay? Because they know what they put me through hell.
Choose people who have work ethic, not just your friends, because it will be difficult.
Yeah.
It's like a plus point if like you're good friends, but then among your friends, choose the one who like actually care about their grades and will work.
Yeah, true. It's super true.
Nah, man. I still do. I love TOK. I don't know why people are so against it, but I love TOK. I should have chosen the person who approached me to do the project with me. Instead, I was like, no, I already have a partner. Oh, why? Whatever. That was like a hard time, but we're past that.
Like,
How would you describe TOK? I mean,
It's
the
kind of
classes were fun, but then I like why? You
it's
know?
like
it's like
fun to like increase your brain power, but you don't know how many times I slept while they were showing the documentaries and stuff like that. Jante math ko wala thing. I slept while watching that. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would say that, but then like the discussions we had TOK were kind of
mm,
interesting and mind
yeah,
blowing sometimes, you know.
yeah.
Mhm.
We
But
talked
then
about like
the
the Black Lives
but then
Matter
Yeah.
and Newali community. It's like super. It makes you super open minded and aware. That is, but it's super confusing.
It's a great place for information and learning new things, and it is also a great place to like let out your aggression, because if you don't like someone, then you can have a debate with them on the spot.
Yeah.
True. Also, TOK first year के TOK man, the thing that I loved the most was like the entire year one when I was at TOK is because we used to have the, like Samita mentioned, open discourse, and two particular people, you know who I'm talking about. They used to have istokata debates. We used to be on the sidelines watching, munching on some popcorn. It
I mean,
was so fun.
all of us sided with one person because that was the only logical side. So it used to be fun.
But you know, the thing that I hated the most about TOK was how they decided to do everything in second year. Like that was not
Oh,
necessary.
true.
They could have
yeah,
finished TOK
exactly.
in
They
first
just
year.
crammed everything up second
Yeah,
year, ma.
I didn't
yeah.
know if
Because
I was,
first year is like fine.
yeah, that was the messed up part, because I didn't know if I was supposed to be doing my IA, my college essays, or my TOK essay. I was so stuck. I had no idea.
Yeah, a part of me was like, why is TOK essay required? You know, it being a part of your whole IB grading thing was cost of pressuring, but then
Yeah, I mean, the TOK essay is probably the easiest essay you'll write, so try to get through it as quickly as you possibly
Exactly.
can.
Yeah.
first year was so much easier. It wasn't like, you know, when people said IB was hard, more first year round, I never like had that thing, IB is hard. But then once I entered second year, everything started making sense, what people said about IB. So another important assessment criteria is IOs. It's like IAs, but then for language subjects, means individual orals. And it was kind of hard for me because I am not quite a good speaker. I wouldn't say that I am. So yeah.
Same.
Since like we're not giving our exams this year, we're also graded by our IOs, and sadly, I think a lot of us messed up their IOs. So
The thing about iOS is that it's mandatory for all the languages you take. So for things like Spanish, you have it a lot. You have it each semester as a practice thing, and you even practice it class. So it can be a lot easier. But for things like English, it's like a one-shot thing. Even though you do practice it sometimes, it's like a completely different thing than what you practice.
true. The English one was harder than the Spanish one, I think, for me.
Yeah, for me too, because I had a breakdown in the middle, and like we had to restart the IO, and that's usually not allowed. But
Yeah,
since I wasn't like too far into my IO, I had the opportunity to do it.
it's very intimidating and just super scary to
Very
English
intimidating.
IO.
For me, English IO was comparatively easier than Nepali. Basically, IO, yeah, romance, it was just talking. You just had to keep on talking without stopping. I know, but then your talks like needed to be really sensible, of course.
Yeah, but
But the hard part about Nepali was that I had so many things in my head that I couldn't speak because I forgot the words. You know, so like that's why it was hard.
which one was more
Yeah.
like Gulf based for you?
Definitely English. For me, English because I think I could still go on and on about the other chapters, but Nepali ma words it dimag ma आइरहेको थिएन के. It was like like I think it's also because we've always kind of grown. I don't know about you guys, but I studied in a English something school that like they used to literally they gave us demerit cards if they found out we spoke in Nepali vanera. So like I guess त्यसले गर्दा पनि I wasn't very properly familiarized with Nepali words at all. And when I had to speak for like what 10 minutes about a book, I know, then you have to think about golf, but you can't even think about it because the words like it's on the tip of your tongue, but it's not out yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing with Spanish was it was almost impossible to like give out guff in like picture describe Berne parts because the pictures are sent to the IBO, so we can't just bullshit about one thing and the IBO is like the picture is completely different. But most of the conversation part, you can make things up. You can probably be like when someone asks you about your schedule, you can be like, I wake up early, I work out. You can say anything that you want, which I think.
But the thing is, I think when you practice and when you do it for the last time, the experience is so different. Like for Spanish, like I thought we had so much time left. Like we had done it so many times before, but I was not aware like I was completely out of time. Like it was like so trippy.
Yeah,
almost.
and with English, you tend to like stutter a lot because it's more research based and it's a known text. So you can't be like, I think the author tried to say this. You can't say that, so it becomes impossible.
Bro, I literally saw this one video where they said that saying I think in like any context makes you sound so underconfident. Okay, not confident. Because like if तिमीले like assessment मा तिमीले I think भन्यो भने it's kind of like, okay, what are you gonna do about that thought?
Yeah,
I think IOs are like harder than IAs, to be honest, because you just get one shot and it's in front of like other people.
Yeah.
It's so intimidating and scary. And if you're not good at public speaking, like me especially, the worst.
I think the only person who's confident Bolnama is other.
About the thing that Anna said about one shot, definitely sorry for English students and English A students, and I don't know. But Nepalima, you get as many shots as possible until like the very end.
Bro,
That's why the moral of this whole podcast is to take Nepali seriously. Don't take English.
I mean, if I could give my English IOs again, I would because it was disastrous.
I so would. True. It was a disaster. Yeah.
The only other good thing about taking English A is that since we didn't have our exams, your English IOs are not the only thing that your grades depend on. Sadly, it is mostly the case for SL students, but for HL students, part of it also comes from your HL essay.
And it's not that hard, actually.
Yeah.
HL essay, yeah. I did
I
Nepali
think
HL essay.
after you do your EE, HL, and then you do your HL, it becomes kind of easier because you already have the experience of writing something so long.
Yeah. And like rather than going under the word count, you'll probably go over it because you're so used to writing 4,000 words, and after that, like 200 becomes nothing.
Yeah.
And the hardest part would be editing out your essay.
Yeah, that is
oh my god, true.
But then I wasn't sure what my HL subject was until the very end. मैले Nepali, literally HL essay लेख्ने time I decided that, I want to do Nepali ko HL essay and drop computer to SL. Like, it was so last minute. And I feel like people aren't aware of this, or like that they have time, like 1 year time to decide HL लिने कि SL लिने भनेर.
I think that's like the other good thing about taking like the Nepali to English B combo, because you can like decide पछि गएर if you want to take HL. But for Spanish, you don't have the choice of going HL, so it can be a little bit constricting, I guess.
I mean, taking your Nepali and English in HL is very beneficial because like these two subjects are English B in HL, sorry, is because these two subjects are one of the most easiest to score good grades in. I'm not saying the easiest, but one of the most easiest. So comparatively to English A and the ab initial combination. But like Resha mentioned, HL the SL subject तिमीहरूले denote गर्नको लागि अहिले नै गर्नु पर्दैन. Like you don't even have to worry about it because like I also didn't really know if I wanted to take computer HL or SL. It was like kita I took computer HL or theater HL because I didn't want to take Nepali HL. I mean, even if I had taken Nepali HL, I probably would not have a problem. But like, I ended up taking theater HL, which made me do the solo theater piece. Do not have to act ekle. So if you guys are kind of camera shy or like shy of audience, I mean, I still motivate you to take it because when you're on the stage and there's people in front of you, but you're in it, you literally go blind. I literally went blind. I was just doing it.
So talking about group 6, it's optional, and me, Somit, and Anna didn't take the group 6 subject, so we really don't know much about it. I think Other has more
Yeah.
to say about that.
Okay, so I do have a lot to say about Group 6, but first of all, I want to just tell people that taking Theater HL is going to let you have credits when you go to university, but I would only recommend people to take Group 6 subjects if they actually want to major in any sorts of arts. The thing about Group 6 subject is that it's kind of a lot of writing based, like especially theater तिमीले धेरैवटा report लेख्नुपर्छ. It's also very much reflection based. Reflection त लेखे गर्नुपर्छ. So you have to master how to reflect and everything, right? If I had to give you guys a word of advice, I know, then it would be if you're interested in arts, theater, visual arts, or film, take it. But it's kind of challenging, त्यही भएर पनि, until and unless you're willing to major in arts, I do not recommend you to take theater or any of the group 6 subjects. Instead, you should take economics or something else because uniहरूले धेरै नै consider गर्छ economics as a subject, even though economics is very difficult. Group 6 pro is that you don't have exams, which is a great thing. And the thing about my subject choices, because I have like each group go yora subject, is I only had to do 3 IAs. So if you want like lesser workload, then yes, take group 6 subjects, I guess, right? So yeah, that's about it for group 6 subjects. It's more about reflection and you to write a lot of written material. Sometimes you need to connect your work with and yourself with the learner profile. So I think that's about it, and it's gonna be easy, but it's also kind of challenging.
Okay, so I feel like the perfect way to wrap up this episode would be by debunking some myths that, people have about IB, and let's just get everyone's perspective on it. So the first myth that we have is IB is almost impossible.
It's not impossible,
That's-
guys. If
Yeah,
we did it, you can do.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
mean, you have to work hard. That's there, but it's not impossible.
I think we all could unanimously say that if IB was impossible, then none of us would have made it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I want to say that it's an over exaggeration.
Yeah.
IB is difficult, but it's not impossible. You can do it if you put in the hard work and time.
And submit your work on the given deadline. That's really important.
Another myth that I wanted to talk about was that IB is only for those who want to go to abroad for studies. And I want to say something. It is not. A lot of the students who did study IB are not going abroad for studies, but I don't really see a point of you paying the sum that you will be paying to study IB in this school to not go abroad. So I'm just putting it out there, okay? I don't know. You can take IB and study in
Yeah,
I think when we did apply for universities, like a lot of everything, it was solely concentrated on universities abroad, like USA, especially.
True, but that does not mean that you cannot
Yeah.
study in Nepal. You still can do that. It just
That's
depends
true.
on which area you want to go into, because most people who take IB, we want majors, and the majors we choose that we want are not available in Nepal. ekdam vastly, so we can't really take those up.
But like it's more recognized compared to Nepali boards. So like yeah, that's the plus point of IB.
Yeah, and like
A levels is fine as well if you want to go abroad. You don't have to take IB.
a similar myth was IB is only for the brightest and best students. That's
Nobody here is
not
bright
true.
or
See,
yeah.
Guys, work hard. You're gonna get through it.
exactly. You can
But the
still
thing is, if you are not willing to like put in effort, I would not recommend IB because you are spending a lot of money and it would just be sad to just let it all go to waste as well. So work hard.
But one thing that's good about IB is that IB provides you with a lot of resources. Ani, there's this thing called the rubric that you almost have to follow every time you do any assessment. So if you're going to follow that and do what's required to do, you're going to get good grades and you're going to pass. So don't worry about that. Like it's not for the brightest and best. It's for all of them.
True.
Next one would definitely be, this is very false. I'm just putting it out there. IB won't let you have a social life.
That's not true.
That's not
Exactly.
true.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
IB does stress you out, but it does not limit you from not having a social life because it's not just us academics, like we mentioned, it's like CAS, it's going on hikes with friends, and you will end up having friends through these experiences. We didn't have Project Weekday, but we probably couldn't have had better friends or like a wider group. I know.
Okay, just continuing. Even like if you're worried about, losing your personal life after you join IB, that's not the case because even though there is a lot of work, if you are able to sort of balance it out, then you will have time for your personal life as well.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned before, there are works where you have to engage with your friends. So that's
Yeah.
there too.
CAS, group works, duties, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally by experience say that it does not affect your social life at all because I was able to procrastinate, have a good sleeping schedule, and talk to my friends at the same time. So
Exactly.
Until last minute when you were crying at 2 a.m. But true.
I cried once throughout the whole experience, so it's fine.
The other myth was that Ivy students get priority from universities, and I personally do not believe it's true. It's kind of like a myth that people hold. That's why they want to come to Ivy, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true either.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but IB does like in some universities provide you with separate scholarships. Some university consider like courses like IB and AP to be difficult than other courses, which can be true in some cases. And so you might get like separate scholarships for it, but about you getting like enrolled in the college, it's not true.
Applying for universities, I saw like certain universities for like 36 or high, I think 24 or 36 or higher, they do offer like a whole separate scholarship. So that's great. But you have to like get good
Yeah.
grades for that.
Yeah, just putting it out there that IB is actually universally recognized in all of the universities. So it does give you like a good push, but it does not necessarily give you a
Yeah,
priority.
I think if you take A levels and IB, it's pretty much the same. Like nobody's getting any special treatment.
Yeah.
It just depends on the grades you get.
The final myth that we have is IB is too much work.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
I wouldn't deny that. That's true.
Mhm.
It's too much
In
work.
A
second
lot
year.
of work.
Yeah,
First year is chill.
yeah.
Second year.
It's too
I
much
think
work and it's not impossible. If you are able to manage your time, then you can get it done.
yeah, like first year is like it just goes by, I know, but second year, Maya, you all of a sudden have so many things that you have to work with. Okay, it's like Samyata mentioned before. It's E's, IA's, and then college applications. It's just too much. So it's about how you kind of put things into your priority list. I think you can still do it and get it done because we did, but
I would say the most important thing when doing IB is time management. If you can properly manage your time, do your works time, then you can get through it.
That'd be our number one advice for you if you're starting IB this fall.
is there?
So with that, I feel like is a good place to end this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you want to hear more from us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram for updates and additional information. You can also reach out to us through our Confess Out page with any questions, recommendations, requests, or opinions, or even through our DMs. As always, our socials will be linked in the description box. Once again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you this Friday.
Thank you. Goodbye.